ENTP Live. Here we go. This is actually a test run, so whoever kind of joins in on this call, it would be fantastic to see who comes on at 9:30 Eastern Time in the United States to check out this live broadcast and see exactly how my new setup is configured. So what I'll do is wait to see if anybody shows up. And if no one shows up, it's okay. In here alone. Is anybody home? I guess it's Friday night in the summertime. People are out enjoying life. What's up? Kana startup. All right, we got 4 eyes. Awesome. For those of you who are here, just hit the like button right away. Try to get some more people in here. Kathy, Laura, test received. Pharrell Jackson. Pharrell Jackson. 8 people now. Awesome. But I'm INFP. It's okay. INFPs are cool. I had an employee by the name of Mariam. She was an INFP, and I really enjoyed working with her. Good to talk to. Relaxed. Antonio Sorge, what's up? How are you? Awesome. Okay, so just wanted to kind of go live just for a little while, and I'm looking at my screen, so sorry that my eyes aren't on the camera. But this is one of my new setups. One thing that was starting to frustrate with me is that all of my gear was in or is in Medellin, Colombia. So I go back and forth between Medellin and Fort Lauderdale quite frequently. And when I'm in Medellin, I do all my filming. And when I'm in Florida, I'm pretty much working. And if I need to do lives, if I needed to do my group sessions for my either Killing the American Dream or for Passive Workforce, I was using my webcam. I didn't really like the visuals. I was working at home sometimes. And I kind of like to have a setup where I could just sit down, turn it on, and go without having to break down, etc. So now that I have my permanent setup in Medellin and this one here in Florida, I'm going to be putting out much more content, not only here on the channel, but on Instagram and on, believe it or not, TikTok. That's right. I'm putting out content on TikTok and even some content on LinkedIn. I really enjoy making content. Not only this content that's kind of facing the typical social media, but I really like to produce interesting things. So right now I'm working on a docu-series, and if you've noticed the past few videos coming out of ENTP Live, the video quality has gone up, the production value has gone up, and that footage actually came from us doing another pilot episode for this show that I'm whipping together, tentatively named Global Citizens or something along that line, Expat Life. I don't know. We haven't quite come up with a name for it, but it's a show that shows and highlights people who have decided to expat from the United States, Canada, UK, Australia, the kind of English speaking colonies for other places in the world. And for a lot of people, that may seem ridiculous because the United States is, a strong economy, very stable sort of system. Same thing with the UK, Australia, and Canada. Actually, those systems work really well in our modern landscape. And people tend to emigrate to those countries. Or immigrate to those countries. And it's kind of confusing, especially for international folks. Why would people want to leave the comfort of the US for other countries? So the concept for this show is to highlight people who've actually made that move, why they made the move, what their life is like in that particular city, and how did they do it from a financial standpoint and from like a visa standpoint, just to kind of give people the mechanics for how to do it if they decided that they wanted to do it. So a lot of the footage that you see is kind of coming from exploring that concept. I'm also looking to film some documentaries to tackle topics that are sort of interesting to me. So there'll be kind of a mix of content creation. Last year, maybe about 10 months ago, I had announced that I am getting tired of the work that I'm doing and looking to focus more on passion projects. And for the past year, I've been kind of evolving and moving that way. I can't move out of some of the industries that I'm in that quickly, just because people need to be trained, businesses need to be sold, that sort of thing. But I'm starting to get my stride in the direction that I want to be in, where it's passion projects only, things that I find interesting, and being able to monetize the things that I love to do and kind of stop pursuing opportunities for financial gain only. And this is part of that. So my intention is to ramp up how much content I put out. I'll be putting out more informational content here on the channel, more entertaining content here on the channel. I'm also launching a few other channels just so I could segregate um, what I do a little further. So on this channel, I discuss real estate investing, healthcare businesses, other business opportunities. I've discussed aviation. I've discussed stock trading. And it's kind of confusing for some of the viewers depending on what information they came across. I discuss concepts or topics in personality testing, and I guess personality typing in the psychology world. It's pretty broad. So I kind of want to start segmenting out that information so that I could build audiences around those particular topics. And at the same time, using this channel to always explore the things that are interesting to me. So it's not like this channel will be just about personality typing, but I'd like to get more focused on global living, because that's probably the thing that excites me the most and always has my entire life. So being able to take people along that journey of settling in new areas, talking to people who have done the same, giving people guidance on how they can do the same, how they can afford it, because that tends to be most people's the top two issues that people have with attempting to relocate and move out of the country, or out of the United States at least, is how can they afford it and what are the immigration processes. So I'd like to talk more about that. And I'll be able to talk about businesses and ways that people can monetize whatever they're doing in their life. I'm also going to be putting out more kind of tutorial content where it's going to be more coursework or more informational, so that for like more detailed and, sorry to say it, but more boring sort of content, really to give more information to those who want that. Here on YouTube, when you start talking for 10 20 minutes, that's long in the YouTube world. So doing long format sort of information has to kind of be rerouted. I want to do more lives. I want to do more shorts. And I want to explore some of the other avenues. I've been one of those people who was always resistant to social media and content creation because I thought it was too self-centered, where it's like, oh, look at me, look at me. And I'm actually not that way. Even though I'm an extrovert, I like to kind of be on the perimeter of the action. I need to be out in the world, but I don't like necessarily the camera to always be on me, the attention to always be on me. It happens, and when it does, I perform, but it's not like that's my goal. Um, so I always avoided kind of being heavy into posting and putting out information on social media. But what I'm finding is that the more that I'm putting out information, especially the things that I know, the more I'm actually helping people navigate difficulties or discover new information. And that is quite entertaining to me. 2 years ago, my wife recommended to me, I remember it was pandemic, it was maybe like April. and she recommended that I open up a TikTok account. And I was like, man, I'm not into this. I'm not going to be up there dancing. I even hate Instagram. Like, I have an Instagram account. I hate it. It's not the content that I consume. I don't follow many people. I don't understand why anybody likes it. But I do understand that people are there, and people have open minds. They're there to learn something, see something, be entertained. TikTok was, in my opinion, Instagram on amphetamines. And just going through it, I was like, oh man, this is absolutely not for me. But then I thought back to YouTube. YouTube is my preferred platform. This is why I'm here. This is why I do most of my content here. And I thought back to when I first started to think about putting out content, to when I first released my first bit of content, which was, I think, 2012, 2013. And I wasn't consistent at all. And I was doing that for another business. And 9 years later, here I am with a channel that seems to be growing and doing well. And I can't help but think, what if I was more active back in 2012, 2013, all these years? What sort of following would I have amassed? What sort of growth would I have had as the platform is growing and taking hold? And I have to imagine that I might have a captive audience of 10x of what we have today. And for that reason, I'm kind of deep diving into TikTok, or I'm going to at least be contributing consistently to TikTok and trying to understand that. I'll be putting out more information on Instagram, again, just to have the exposures, different people. The audience on YouTube is much, much different than the audience on Instagram and TikTok, and what they're looking for is very different. And last but not least, I'll be upping what I do on LinkedIn, because one of the things that I get really great joy from is actually brainstorming with other entrepreneurs and working with other people who are in the business world or in corporate America, or the corporate world, not just America, to talk about kind of business development from the conceptual place, just the idea, to growth stage and mature companies and how those evolve. And I've been in that world for my entire teenage and adult life. So I've gotten to see, what it's like to go from a 0 revenue business to an 8-figure business. I haven't had a 9-figure business yet, but I guess at some point that should happen. And I at least know what is a process from going from 0 to 8. And I certainly, in theory, know what it takes to go to 9. I just haven't done that yet. And when I do, I'll announce that and kind of explain how that happens. But ultimately, that's what's going on here. And this footage is just for me to test the equipment that I have. So it's a 2-camera setup, except when I'm doing these lives, it'll just be one, this one here. I have my Canon M50 square. I have actually 2 mics. There's one mic here that's a shotgun mic, a Rhodes NGT1. Then I have this Audio-Technica dynamic mic. It has a different, richer sound, excellent for podcasting, which I'll be introduced to the channel as well. And the other camera that I have is another M50, and it's kind of at a maybe 30-degree angle to the main camera. And this one is just going to be for my typical talking head videos that I do, just to have kind of an alternate / cut point. And it's on a 90-degree swivel. So I'm going to be able to spin that and do vertical footage. If you notice that when I do my shorts, the editor is taking this section and cropping in. And because it's shooting on 1080p, it kind of degrades the quality, and I don't like the way it looks. So this camera is actually able to go between the portrait style and typical landscape. And that's what I'm going to be kind of filming so this perspective, which I can't switch to, but this perspective will be how I film my shorts. So every morning, the intention is to at least work on content for 2 hours minimum. So that's what I'll be doing. And you'll get to see kind of how I'm putting out content. And after that, I'll continue my regular business days. And I'm trying to encourage my staff and my team and the people that I work with to also either start launching their own social media platforms, because I think a lot of them have really good ideas and really rich experience, so that they can contribute and teach, whether it's within departments in my home care company or healthcare staffing company, or it's the people who are working on my social media team. All of them have such rich experience. And I think there's enough people and enough interest and enough overlap to share those ideas, so that some of the channels aren't strictly dependent on me and rely on me to produce. ENTP Life will always be me, because in essence, this channel is just me living my life as an ENTP, not as an entrepreneur, but as an ENTP, and how an ENTP's focus evolves and interest evolves and how they mature and change and that sort of thing. That's what this channel is about. And I want to kind of make sure that I start to silo what I'm doing. And I hope that makes sense. But if anybody has any questions, I answer a few questions just to make sure the flow is good. And then we're going to get out of here. Is Tara still here? Oh, what the hell did I do? Thank you, Laura, for saying I have a nice setup. I got to hide. You see the wire? Where is that? Which way is that? No, this way. You see this wire here? There's a few adjustments I need to make. I need to hide this wire so it's not showing up back there. I might start playing a little bit more with lighting and what I have in the background. I have 2 candles. I'm not sure if I'm going to light that picture frame. I just picked a photo of my daughter that's going to be there. So there's still a little more adjusting that I have to do here, but it's almost where I want it to be. Tara Dulal. Here thinking / looking to start out small. Start what? Sheldon, yo, I'm having a barbecue tomorrow, but I know you're not around. I'm bent and gonna get hilarious. Bring back Cooking or Eats type series. You think I should bring back food? Maybe every now and then. I think that could always pop up on this channel. But again, I don't like setting up and breaking down. I feel it's a waste of time. So if I start bringing back a cooking series, or where I might do kind of a recipe and that might be a good segment where I invite my team members over for dinner, right? Let's just think through this out loud. Invite a team member or a few team members over for dinner. Cook something up while filming live, talking, and then kind of have brainstorming sessions or kind of advice sessions, depending on who they are and what level they are in the company. Whether it's talking about soft skills, that might be a good segment, and just not necessarily focused on the recipe itself. But I don't know. But I would have to have a permanent setup that allows me to do that, and that's like another like $2,000 or $3,000 to get. How much? Yeah, of course, about that, between lights and cameras and yeah. Maybe we'll see. Do I discuss art? No, not particularly. Unless you're considering video as an art form. I'm not really like. I guess my art history knowledge is fair. But that's not my thing. I'm not gonna discuss art. Kingstown. I'd like to know more about opening a home care business. Okay. What would you like to know? Always another thing, guys and girls. Um, if you go to my website, entplife.com, I have a consultation section. And I charge for consultations, of course. And I charge mainly for one reason, not to waste my time. I love to teach people and inform people about what to do, how to do it. And I realize that by charging people, it eliminates a great number of tire kickers. And I'm not saying that you, Kingstown, are a tire kicker, but if you're going to be getting into business or you're going to be doing anything, any of the things that I talk about here, other than, you know, most of the things I talk about here have some sort of monetary affiliation or association. And if you're going to do anything to make money or start a business, whatever, there's going to be a level of investment that's going to take place. And a lot of people, unfortunately, will start thinking about doing something and then prices turn them off, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to sit there and talk to me about wanting to do those things and wasting my time because I used to get excited about anybody who was looking to pursue an entrepreneurial path. And I would dive into offering them a bunch of information, brainstorming, and then I actually get too committed to other people's ideas to the point that if somebody tells me, Carl, I need help, or I'm doing this new thing and I'm confused about something, I will set time out of my own life to help them plan their thing for them to go forward and not do anything with that. And I got tired of doing that. So one of the ways that I determine whether or not people are real are to is to say, hey, here there's a dollar amount to speak to me about what you want to talk about. And if it's really worth something to you and you really think I can offer you value to help you do that thing, then pay this $150 and we'll get talking. The $150 actually I just reinvested in ENTP Life as a channel or push it towards staff. It doesn't change anything in my life, but it tells me that this person is at least serious enough to put their money where their mouth is. And if they do nothing with my advice, so be it. It wasn't a waste of my time. That's the way that I look at that. So if you are looking to start a home care agency or you have any question about any business that I'm in, you're looking to do the same, you just need general advice, whatever it is, if you want to talk to me and get more than, 140 character response, that's the way. Sheldon's not a fan of Instagram. Kana startup. Bitcoin was $13 in 2012. Yeah. And I could care less. Like Bitcoin rant coming. Bitcoin is a game, a pure game of hot potato. It's not that there's no utility to cryptocurrencies. It's not that there's no utility to blockchain, but Bitcoin itself was made up by an unknown person, sold, and the only thing that gives it value is the next person's perception that it's valuable. I can't eat it, I can't touch it, I can't use it as a paperweight, I can't throw it at anybody. I could trade with people, I'm sure. I could probably buy things with it for as long as some other person considers it valuable. But I'm not going to take dollars and convert it to Bitcoin in hopes that Bitcoin value goes up because inherently it's worth nothing and there is no backing to it. It's not for me. Can you make money trading it? Absolutely. Have people made money investing in it? Yes. That doesn't mean that I like it and I think it's a good idea. If anybody were to ask me, should they invest in Bitcoin? I would say no. If they were to ask me, should they invest in blockchain technology? I would say it seems like it has utility that makes more sense than Bitcoin, because if you're investing in the blockchain technology, there is obviously some utility to it in some sort of theory to how to monetize the service and the technology. And that has value, right? The businesses that are going to be administrating transactions and proofs and verifications and that sort of thing. Whoever emerges to be the leader, you have to remember, like if you go back to early tech days, you had AOL, you had NetZero, Netscape, you had these tech companies that were providing uh, infrastructure to the internet, which everybody uses, right? The internet is something that is real and offers utility to the world. But the majority of those guys blew up. Okay. Doesn't mean, it doesn't take away from the internet. The internet, like I said, has created immense value for humanity and continues to generate wealth for people. But a lot of those early companies are kaput because they didn't adapt properly, or they were mismanaged, or whatever happened to them to cause them to blow up. So I feel like everything around the crypto world is kind of the same and will evolve into something. But Bitcoin, you know, if I had invested like $10,000 in Bitcoin in 2012, right? And it's trading at what, between 20 and 30 now. I have, last I checked, it was somewhere around there. There's no way in hell that I would hold that investment. No, impossible that I would have held that investment for that kind of percentage gain. The only way would have been if I had accidentally invested in Bitcoin because somebody recommended it to me and I just was like, yeah, 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 do it. And I didn't even know that I had a Bitcoin position. And I would have found out today. If I were to find out today that I have a Bitcoin position, I would liquidate 80% of it today and hold whatever else is there until, it goes to zero, which it probably will, or it has another 100% gain, and then I'll probably sell another 80%, because I wouldn't hold something that long for, like, I'm not uh, to get a double on any investment in a short period of time is, a good internal rate of return is 20%. A good annual rate of return consistently 10%, like the S&P 500 over time, that's good. Or even 7%, that's good. So 100% in a short period of time, I'm out of there, man. That's like once every few years you get something that hits in that way. But that's my rant on that. You really like the setup. Perfect. Thank you. What a setup. Awesome. Glad you like it. So before I log out of here, any other questions? Does the audio sound good? Like from my little screen here, I like the way this looks. I got a secondary feed to a TV screen, and I don't like the way it looks there. I look like super shiny. Um, and all this gray hair in my beard is making me look like I got lint all over my face from this screen. But how does it look, excuse me, on your end? Just a little feedback there. Where am I having dinner tonight? It's 9:55. I'm not. I think I'm gonna have a Sasha Fitness protein shake, and I'm gonna take a shower and get in bed. So I feel gross, and I want to bathe myself. Where am I having dinner tonight? Nowhere, man. I'm trying to lose the belly. I earned a few pounds in Sicily, and I am looking to improve my overall health. Cheap seats. Looks good, man. Audio and lighting are real good. Awesome. You look good. Thank you, Claudia. So we sound good, look good. Before we close out, any last questions? And 30, like it's been 30 minutes straight. The camera hasn't cut out, which is good. So have some length here. Well, I got a question for you guys, um, the 10 of you in the room. What sort of content and what sort of information do you want me to cover and provide here? Like what is the thing that gets you to watch, gets you excited, gets your mind going, out of the things that I cover? If you could give me some feedback as to what I should dive maybe a little deeper into and potentially why. One of the things that I plan on diving, like I'm launching a podcast to talk to expats, people who've moved out of the country, because I've seen on the channel, I have my interview with Yusuf Latif, I have my interview with Life of David, I have a few other interviews with other people. And it seems that anytime that I interview somebody about their choice to relocate, I get above average views. Like my average video gets maybe 1,000 or 2,000 views at best. But these videos get into the $20,000, $30,000, 20 to 30 view range. And that made me realize that people are kind of interested in listening in other people's stories and are thinking about relocating to new countries and want feedback from real people. So I want to bring that on. But is there anything else that you've come across on the channel that you kind of wish I would dial up more on? I know some people have said stock trading. Um, I have my buddies who are much better investors and traders than me that I've asked if they want to like come on and have a segment, but they haven't seemed too excited about that. And so I know that's another one. That's something that people have asked for. Um, and I like to bring people on with opposing views to kind of debate ideas. Yeah, I'm not right about all things. And like I have a couple of people who've expressed interest who've been telling me lately that I messed up with Turo. Turo's been great. And I think it has potential. So I'm inviting them to come on and share how they approach their Turo business, what strategies do they use to grow their fleet, reduce the safety risk that I had, the accidents, the insurance, what's their car selection process. I want to kind of pull that information out of them to learn something. So I'm going to do that, invite more guests on the channel. So tell me what you think. More flying videos, more home renovations, Italy and elsewhere. Okay. Well, actually, cheap seats. Um, that's what, I am more interested in those things myself. Uh, so like right now, oh, I got an awesome flying video coming out. I'm actually doing an entire aviation channel. I'll still do aviation stuff on the channel here and maybe integrate it into like my routine. But I'm doing really interesting things with 2-3 Whiskey and can't wait to unveil what's changed, which is everything. So that's going to be here. And then I'm going to try to do some more travel with myself, my family, using the aircraft. So that there's going to be more of that, but it won't be like dedicated aviation videos. So you might see me flying to a new city, maybe because I'm going to be meeting with a client, fly to that city, meet with the client, show what that's like, interview that client, and that's a full episode. So I'm just trying to really bring everything together. So short answer, there's going to be more of that. Randy, business advice and how to make them work. Okay. What I would advise is it's best to have specific questions So like if there's a live or if there's any other business topic that I cover that you have a question on, I'm actually when I get comments that I think are good video ideas because they're questions or just stupid comments that I want to talk, you know, talk some talk some smack about the stupid comment. I screenshot them and I save them in a folder that is comments to revisit. Some of the questions are really good ideas for new topics. So obviously we talk more than just here. But if you do have some ideas, some questions, um, you're more than welcome. If every now and then, let's just say I'm dry on people participating, we could have what I want to do more of maybe once a month. I'll do like a live consultation for free. So if I don't have any takers, then maybe we bring you on and Freelance Atham on or somebody in your staff on to talk through certain things. That way it creates content for the page and it creates a learning opportunity for the person that's free. A lot of people are not so comfortable getting in front of the camera and talking. So that's one way of incentivizing them. So rather than spending money and having a private conversation, you don't spend any money and you have a public one. And that public conversation can be content for the channel, shows my consultation style. And if the video does well, then it ends up getting monetized anyway. So it's a win-win for everybody. I love more behind the scene, behind the doors tours you're remodeling, and I like to listen to you. You are a very smart guy. I'm blushing. Thank you. Yeah, I've actually slowed down on buying real estate since the pandemic. That's another video topic. But once the market starts behaving strangely to me, I just don't participate. And I've missed some opportunities just because things appreciated. Like when the pandemic started, lenders initially stopped lending because they weren't sure what the hell was going on. And I didn't want to be in a situation where I had no exits, right? No exits to sell because people weren't buying, and no exits to refinance because banks weren't lending. And people aren't buying usually because banks aren't lending. But what ended up happening is the government infused a bunch of cash into the system and made cash really cheap. And that drove the market wild. And again, I wasn't sure how long that would last, what the implications would be. So I kind of have been sitting on the sidelines waiting. So I'm in the process of actually selling more assets, business and real estate, cashing up, because I still feel pretty negative on the economy. And I want to be in the best cash position possible to take advantage of whatever opportunities do present. And usually when the economy suffers, money supply gets tight, and those who have are the first to be able to participate in when the market cycle starts to improve again, or are able to purchase assets at discount because they are cash heavy. So that's the process that I'm in now. Another project that I'm working on is my Brazilian project. Just waiting for final plan approval. So I'll be documenting that. So that's one project. I'm also putting together another project in Italy. I'll be announcing that at some other point. But that's going to be a rehab / Airbnb joint venture in a town that I fell in love with. So that's going to be covered. But I'm really just trying to slow down and make sure I don't hurt myself. The dirty work. Yeah, I could kind of, I could bring that back because, like I said, my intention is to do a minimum of 2 hours of content. So if I did like a quick segment of here's what's on the agenda for today, and here's why I'm focused on this. Maybe that could be part of it, like the dirty work of entrepreneurship. Um, just like, for example, it's 10 o'clock on a Friday. Some people are going out to have fun. I am in my office, uh, trying to figure out, watching videos on how to dry hydrangeas, right? Because I have a little hydrangea, live hydrangea plant there, and I want it to dry out and kind of hold there. They dry pretty well, so I was looking for how to do that. Messing with placement, editing photos of that I've taken with my daughter for this picture frame, uh, hanging hanging paintings, going back. This is me, right? So people think because you've had success as an entrepreneur, or you've made a lot of money, or you have the millionaire tag associated with you, that everything just gets done for you. My business life and work life starts from the time that I wake up to the time that I go to sleep, and everything else that normal human beings do, like eat, exercise, spend time with their family, gets kind of included in that. So, I like to talk more about the realities of entrepreneurship, the stress, the uncertainty, the self doubt, the employee selection process, the employee reduction process. So yeah, maybe dirty work could come back. The dirty work was good. Jesus. Okay. But now the question is, bringing back the dirty work, where does that make most sense to post it? Right? Because I'm setting up another channel that's just going to be focused on healthcare entrepreneurship and business consulting and kind of business tips, just pure that, uh, without sprinkling in, aviation, cooking, travel, blah, blah, blah. So maybe the dirty work will live there. Um, that might be the best place for it. I don't know. I have to put out the content and see, like, what people react to. Like, I had one video go viral on TikTok in me explaining how to approach women in Colombia, and actually trying to advise people to be careful in pursuing ladies of the night. And that's my most successful TikTok to date. And that's not what I talk about on the channel. That's not, you know, and I learned from that something. The thumbnail was sex tourism. And maybe because sex sells and the topic is taboo or whatever the case may be, it made people stop and watch. And then people were debating between whether or not it was ethical or um, a necessity in life. And of course, that's why I did well. So I learned that a sensational tagline and controversial perspective helps the TikTok algorithm. So, how do I replicate those two things? The attention grab of the thumbnail and the controversial topic, whether in the areas that I prefer to discuss, like global travel, etc. Um, maybe a thumbnail like uh, "America sucks," and debating the pros and cons of America, why I think it sucks, why I think it's great. I think, like, for me, I posted a video on Americans are living in a bubble, and I got some pretty interesting responses from people who disagreed with me. And as that wasn't as controversial of a thumbnail as America Sucks. I think if I triggered people in that way with the America Sucks line, whether or not I truly believe that, because I don't think America sucks. I think it's good for certain things, bad for others, like everything in life. Um, but that gets people to stop, and then gets people to debate. And from what I can see, those things tickle the algorithm in the way that the algorithm wants to be tickled. So that's what I'm learning about TikTok. Um, and I think Instagram's reels are going to kind of function in the same way. So I want to be able to put out content that's true to the topics that I really care about, but also pull people in and encourage them to have a discussion. So maybe the dirty work can kind of maybe challenge concepts of capitalism, concepts of debt, concepts of building a team. Um, subject lines like entrepreneurship sucks. Entrepreneurship is the only way. Why you shouldn't quit your day job. Quit your day job. Those sort of topics might get people to stop and listen. But I don't know, man. Anyway, I think that wraps it up for me today. Thank you all for taking the time out for this test run. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the participation. As always, like, subscribe, share, and make sure you join in on the next ones. Also, I'm always, always, always interested in interacting with you. It's not, for me, it's not about being on here grandstanding. It's about getting to know people, sharing ideas, getting people to even push me to learn new things. So this is very self-serving for me as well. But till the next time, which I think will be next week, be well, take care, and do things that make you happy. Bye-bye.